The biggest problem with books is the fact that you don't realize how much they can influence your life until you dive right in. As stated in Atomic Habits, one of the most actionable guides to changing our lives for the better, we are much more likely to do what's the easiest and the most accessible for us. Usually it goes for social media, movies, shows, and not the healthiest food. The books that are waiting for you in the darkest corner of your room that you never even look at keep waiting for you for years and you never reach them. I have fallen into this trap myself. In the autumn of 2024, I had the realization that I'm missing out on so much just because I'm not reading enough. And it's not even that I don't like reading, it's really that I didn't choose to do it intentionally before. And because I'm trying to make it right this year, I have created a list of benefits that reading brings into my life and hopefully into yours. I'll share my opinions in this video. I'm filming it not only for you but also for myself because these are the reasons that actually work for me. And I'm hoping they will relate to you too. The idea is to have a checklist of reasons that can bring your attention back to reading if you realize that you've moved away from it for too long again. Reading expands your perspective on life and helps you get through stages when you feel stuck. It's okay to have moments when you feel behind, like your actions don't bring any results and you're feeling lost. But books have this incredible way of showing you the meaning again. They do it organically through stories, ideas, and emotions that make you reflect. Books can shift your mindset without you even noticing. You might start a book just out of curiosity, and by the time you finish it, you realize that something in your perspective changed. Even if it's a small shift. Maybe you grew more patient, or you feel seen and understood. Reading even helps with empathy. If you understand a character in a book, thanks to all the context you have about them, you might as well understand why a particular someone in your life made choices that you didn't approve of at the time. And these are only the smallest examples. I also think there's something magical about how the same words that we use in our everyday life can feel completely new in the hands of a great writer. You read something and it clicks. It's like you knew it all along but just haven't found the right words for it yet. There's a beautiful poem in my native language that captures this idea really well. Людей мільярди і мільярди слів, а ти їх маєш вимовити вперше. It translates as there are billions of people and billions of words, but you must speak them for the first time. And in my opinion, reading does exactly that. It helps you find the words you didn't even know you were looking for. It's been scientifically proven that reading improves ability to concentrate, builds memory, and helps reduce stress. When you read and work through the new information, your brain creates new connection between neurons. Repeated encountering of words, phrases, and concepts while reading strengthens memory pathways in the long term. According to research, reading even strengthens the white matter in the brain, making it easier to concentrate. So overall attention span and focus improves over time. It might sound boring, but I can feel the improvements myself. I've had times when I struggled with concentration really badly, and I can absolutely confirm that I have noticed a positive influence very shortly after I started reading regularly again. For stress reduction, I am impressed with the facts here. Reading for only 6 minutes reduces stress by 68%. Reading actually relaxes your body by lowering the heart rate and easing the tension in your muscles. It's also more effective than other relaxation methods like listening to music, having a cup of tea, or taking a walk. For some reason, I have always believed that walking is the best way to fight stress. After finding this fact, it honestly makes sense, because when I'm really stressed, I need a few hours of walking to calm down, and reading actually helps much quicker. I think I've believed in walking more because it always was the easiest strategy for me. Like, it's more active, you're fighting stress with actual physical activity, movement. Whereas for reading, you really need to sit down and focus and not let your thoughts get in the way. Obviously for stress fighting, it's always what works best for you, but I personally will be using this fact for my advantage from now on. And hopefully I'll save myself hours of walking and will trade them for 6-minute reading breaks. Next reason is that reading helps enrich vocabulary and improves communication skills. It might seem to you like it's so obvious, but I dare to argue here. You only realize the true power of this benefit when you actually start reading. I think of it as you don't know what you don't know. Only when you see the variety of styles and word choices, then you really understand what you're missing out on. Me, for example, when I started creating content for YouTube was the moment when I realized that I need so much more vocabulary, especially because English is not my first language, as you can clearly hear, and I have high standards on writing styles. So I love books and any texts that are beautifully written, that you can see a personal touch in, almost like an audible handwriting when it comes to audio and video content. I happen to believe that I write pretty well in my native language. I have my own style, I write poetry, but I've read many more books in Ukrainian than I have in English. And even though I consume a lot of content in English, books are the most powerful tool for expanding vocabulary. So when I started creating a lot of long-form content myself, my first thought was I need to get reading in English straight away because I'm not always satisfied with the way how I can articulate my thoughts. This reason applies to non-fictional literature mostly. Business books, marketing, finance, whatever niche it is that you need to grow your expertise in. It might seem like an obvious fact, but in reality we really tend to ignore professional books and just think that as long as we work in a particular field, our skills are growing because there's regular practice involved. However, it's so precious how you can simply read a book and find a few ways how you can improve your methods in work, business, marketing your products, managing your finances, even understanding the theory in your niche. Borrowing this expertise from someone, buying the experience, and saving your time is very underrated in cases when me or you, if you made it this far in this video, simply forget to read. This benefit only goes for physical books, but it's a very good one because it's supposed to exclude any screens out of your sight before you go to bed at night. So it's about creating the ritual of reading before going to sleep. Reading is an activity that works your brain without active physical stimulation involved, because you can read while lying down or comfortably leaning back on a chair. It slowly relaxes your body and mind into sleep. Again, your heart rate lowers, the tension in your muscles eases, so in a way it's bedtime meditation. It helps you fall asleep faster and sleep better. If you're anything like me, starting to read regularly or coming back to it can feel overwhelming at first. For me, the difficulty was to sit still, not to have any additional stimulators like we now have in social media or in the real world even, but in the long term it pays off really well. Reading contributes to your health and wellness, it makes you more calm, more mindful. It adds so much to your discipline, in two ways really. Firstly, it's opening the book and reading whenever you promise yourself that you'll do so. And secondly, it's taking the insights from the books you've read and applying them to your life. For me, it happened on a deep level with the Atomic Habits book, which I will post a review of. I really loved reading it and I'm trying to use advice from it daily. So if you're interested to hear the review and my opinion on the book, do subscribe to my channel. I really hope you've gained some value from this video and I'll be happy to see you again here next week.